Hello, welcome to another session of TRAC Center Unplugged. We are so excited to be speaking with the Dean's Office of the College of Business at Sam Houston State University. So if you're a business major, welcome, because you're going to be having a treat, getting an opportunity to speak with both the deans at the College of Business Administration at Sam Houston State University. And my name is Dr. Juan LeBron, and I am a supervisor and faculty counselor here at Lone Star College-Montgomery. And at this time, I would love for our guests to introduce themselves and to highlight the areas that they represent.
Dr. LeBron, thank you for including us. We are so thrilled to be involved with Lone Star College. We've had so many excellent students from that institution join us and graduate from Sam Houston State University over the years. I'm Dr. Muehsam. I have the distinct pleasure of serving as the Dean of the College of Business Administration. And with me, about to introduce herself, is my esteemed colleague, Dr. Shani Robinson.
Thank you for that. And once again, let me just reiterate, Dr. LeBron, what a pleasure it is to be speaking with you this morning. And we're excited to share this information. I'm Dr. Robinson, Shani Robinson, one of the associate deans at the college. And so once again, thank you for having us. And we'll get started with the questions when you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. So I'm going to start off with a question. As deans of the College of Business, you know that we come across a lot of students that say, I want to be a business major, but they haven't determined which track to follow, which specialization area to go into. So for someone who may be undecided, what would be your selling points for the Sam Houston State University College of Business? And what could you highlight as great pathways to think about for an undecided student?
So that's a really good question. There are a variety of items that I think are selling points for students that join the College of Business Administration. So let me just touch on a few of those things. One is that in addition to just a high quality group of faculty that deliver a very top-notch curriculum, one thing that we do in the College of Business Administration is we seek to provide lots of opportunities for our students to engage and work on their professional development skills. And so you will find that the student that comes here in our college has opportunities to participate in events such as alumni career camp, where we bring back speakers that were students here, and they're coming back talking about that transition from college into the business world. And so that's very informative for students. We have several programs that we also sponsor in conjunction with Career Services that talk about, how to develop your resume, how to present yourself professionally. And so various ways to develop outside of just the classroom environment, I think, is a key selling point. And I have to throw our tagline in there, which is developing business professionals. So we certainly do exemplify that. We have 12 majors that are in very high demand, several master's programs, which Dr. Muehsam will elaborate more on as we get further into this. And then we have some niche programs. Dr. Muehsam, would you like to elaborate on those now?
Thank you, Dean Robinson. No, you alluded to Dr. LeBron that so many students are uncertain, and that's very common. So they don't know exactly what path to follow. And if you go to most business schools across the country, you're going to find very common curriculum, from management and marketing, accounting and finance. And we certainly have a very relevant and current curriculum, but we pride ourselves on the fact that we have several niche programs that are not necessarily unique, but we're one of the few schools that have these programs. For example, we were the first program in the state of Texas to offer a major in banking. Several schools have followed our lead, and now it's a very popular major across the state. Additionally, we're one of the few schools that have a major in supply chain. And within our curriculum, within the resources we provide our students, we have a technology lab where students may get hands-on experience with robotics, with 3D printing, on RFID technology. And perhaps the best selling point for this university is the quality of the life in the college and on the campus. We pride ourselves on access to our faculty. One of the most common compliments we receive from our current students, their families, their alumni, is our faculty know our students. So if your students want to come to a place where they can be part of the family and the faculty can get to know their strengths and help them overcome their weaknesses. Sam Houston State University's College of Business Administration is that place.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My next question is centered on what words of wisdom would you share, knowing that your programs are very competitive to get into? What words of wisdom would you give our students in relation to becoming the most competitive applicants that they can be as they prepare to become Bearcats?
So another great question. I think first and foremost, we want to put in students' minds that we would like them to enter prioritizing their academic success. So that academics are a priority for them, and that they are seeking to earn those good grades. But at the same time, we also like well-rounded and developed students. And so getting involved in things like professional student organizations, which we have several of within the College of Business Administration, but also university-wide. So they are able to get involved and develop those leadership skills, work in teams and things of that nature, which employers are going to look for. In addition to that, in the classroom setting, again, grades are important, but we also like to emphasize the pursuit of knowledge. So really trying to learn the material. And something that truly helps with that is asking questions. Again, as Dean Muehsam mentioned, our faculty are in this profession because they genuinely want to help our students. And so asking questions, we want them to know it is a sign of intelligence. It's not a form of ignorance or lack of, something else. It is just a way for them to really grasp the material. So we encourage that with students, that they have that mindset coming in, prioritize academics, ask questions, be engaged with their faculty, but also to get involved in campus life as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Were you going to share something as well, Dr. Muehsam?
I think Dr. Robinson hit things right on point as usual. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. So could you share about those unique programs within the College of Business Administration that perhaps they get less attention, but may result in solid careers and stable incomes? A lot of times there are those majors that not a lot of people talk about, but that they yield a good return of investment as it relates to graduating from that specialty.
No, Dr. LeBron, that is a magnificent question. When students think about business, there are certain subject matters that come to mind. Accounting, management, marketing, finance, economics, human resource management. They come first and foremost in your mind. But we have 12 undergraduate majors, and the ones I just mentioned are our largest majors, along with general business for students who want to have a very broad-based education. But we also have several other majors that don't have as many students, but produce graduates that are in high demand, such as international business, banking and financial institutions, entrepreneurship, supply chain management. Those are programs that give you a solid foundation for the business world. And I think something that's very important for students to understand is that a BBA, a Bachelor's of Business Administration program, is very different than a Bachelor's of Science or Bachelor's of Arts program. All business majors, regardless of their preferred path, need to know something about all the foundational disciplines of the business program. So whether you're in a highly commonly known program such as accounting, where you still need to know something about management and marketing, or another well-known program such as finance, where you still need to know something such as information systems, or a lesser-known program such as entrepreneurship, where you still need to know accounting and finance, the business foundation is going to give you that knowledge base upon which you're built. So every one of the graduates, whether they be in a very well-known to the public major or a major that is more niche-oriented, we are one of just 18 schools in the country with a PGA professional golf management program. We're one of the handful of schools in the state now, but with a regional private banking program. Supply chain is now well in the public view, but prior to recent years, it was a hidden gem. So something I like to emphasize to the students is to find a path that excites them. They are not defined by their major, they're defined by the quality of the human being they are. They find a path that excites them. They will be successful in their career. And it's projected that most graduates will have jobs in the future that don't exist now. So the key is, as Dr. Robinson said earlier, is to pursue knowledge. And with a sound foundational base of knowledge, the world is there for the taking. And we're going to help students develop their soft skills beyond their academic knowledge, that they're going to be successful with whatever path they follow.
And you know what, I actually want to add something to that. All those are great points. And so to elaborate, as he mentioned, we do have a business core. And so students will come in and take that core curriculum for all the majors. And so what that also does is it allows students to, let's say they have an interest in a particular major, and then they decide relatively early on, I think I want to switch from, say, accounting to marketing or something of that nature. Those core classes are still there and in place for both majors. And so it takes away some of that anxiety perhaps of, oh, I need to pick my major as early as possible. In our College of Business Administration, that structure allows for them to change majors, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to increase their time to graduation in many cases.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Sam Houston State University is known for many things, but in particularly it is diverse campus. Are there any recruiting measures that are in place within the College of Business Administration that particularly to attract minority students or students that are from underrepresented populations to become business students?
Well, I may start with that. I would say by far the best effort and the best selling point for underrepresented groups to come to Sam Houston University is to come for a campus visit. We are a very diverse campus. We just hit 25% of our undergraduate student body being Hispanic. We're 19% African American, a solid percentage of Asian Americans. We actually are the face of Texas. We're doing a better job of attracting faculty that is diverse, and it is certainly something that we're placing a greater and greater emphasis. We are very proud that we have in place nationally recognized support services to help students succeed. And if you look at many schools across the country, there are different success rates for underrepresented groups than for the Caucasian. At this university, our success rate is about the same for all groups, and we're above the state average. So the fact that we're a welcoming campus, the fact that we treat everyone with respect, which is one of our core values, the fact that we put programs in place to help you grow professionally and build your confidence and the self-esteem leads to success. And students can come here and recognize that they're going to be valued, that they're going to be respected, that they're going to be supported. And we have some other support structures in place for underrepresented groups. Dr. Robinson may be able to mention a couple of those.
And so we have the Academic Success Center on campus that is available to all students that can help with areas such as writing, reading, things of that nature, various tutoring programs. I think it's also important to mention something that we're very proud of, which is we have an extremely high percentage of first-generation college students. That is something that we're so proud of, and that students from all backgrounds can come here, get a quality education, and feel the support and the inclusivity that our campus and our college displays. And then I'm just going to throw this in from firsthand experience. I actually went to school here many, many years ago, a long time ago. And that warm feeling of the campus that was there, I'm not going to say how many years ago that was, but the feeling that was there then is very much so present here today. And while we do have work to do, there's always improvements to be made. It is an important focus of ours.
And if I may just add one little tidbit to that end, the pursuit of diversity, equity, and inclusion is extremely important. And that is something that this university and this college takes very seriously. It is one of our highest priorities as we move forward. We, like Lone Star College, have a YouTube page, and I'm very proud of the fact that this summer we put together a video of what do we do now in reaction to the unrest after the murder of George Floyd. And I would encourage your students to go to the SHSU College of Business Administration YouTube page and look what we put together from our students, from our faculty, from our very enlightening program.
Thank you both so much for your responses. When it comes to our mission as a community college, is to basically prepare our students to for that transfer experience. And transfer shock is one of those phenomenons that impact our students in that journey. So what can students expect when transferring from, of course, a 2-year institution and now to a large 4-year institution? And particularly, one of those expectations as it relates to the rigor that they are going to face of coursework and adjustment into campus life. Any words of advice that you have for our students as they prepare for that part of their journey?
Yet another great question, Dr. LeBron. Obviously, when students transition from high school to a community college, there's a transfer shock there. Then as you move from a community college to a university, there's another shock to the system because of different environments. And the same thing could happen, or potentially could happen, when you move from Lone Star College to San Diego State University. With respect to rigor, we expect our faculty to set a high standard of performance, not just for our students, but for themselves. The pride you have in the quality of the lectures, the material you present to your students, the opportunities we give them. What I have noticed over the years, and like Dr. Robinson, I'm not going to share how many years, what I've discovered over the years with working with students, and I have been involved teaching since I was a senior as an undergraduate, teaching calculus labs. I've discovered that students have abilities far beyond what they recognize. And it's part of our responsibilities as professional educators to challenge them. And so we're going to put a high standard of performance on our students, but then we're going to help them get there. We're going to give them access to quality faculty. We're going to give them access to tutoring. We're going to give them access to academic support services. We're going to bring in alumni with whom they can chat, bring in career professionals with whom they can chat. And the students are going to discover these people have experiences similar to mine. These successful individuals were me just 5, 10, 15 years ago. I can be successful. So there will be some transfer shock, but we're here to lessen that shock. And if you look at the core values with the College of Business Administration, 2 of them are very pertinent to your question. One deals with quality and one deals with responsibility. Our faculty and staff will provide a quality educational environment. They will maintain a relevant curriculum, and they will have teaching pedagogies that are current and relevant, and they will nurture the intellectual development of our students. And with respect to responsibility, we will take initiative and accept accountability, and we hope that transfers to our students to be accountable for their success, and they will get there.
All great points. I just want to add one thing to that, which I think is also important, which is that we want our students, all students, transfer students, incoming freshmen, et cetera, to take that initiative, to reach out and ask for the help and to take ownership and initiative. If the coursework they feel is becoming at a level where they need some assistance, we want them to take the initiative to reach out and ask for it. And so, once again, our faculty are well equipped to handle that, and we want to encourage students to be proactive.
And we want to thank the faculty and staff at Lone Star College. We have, over the years, had so many quality students come here. And a lot of that is because of the environment that you have provided and the foundation that you have provided. So thank you for that. You know that we're going to continue those expectations, and we will then do our responsibility to continue to push our students to be the best they can possibly be and to unleash their potential.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And when it comes to what's trending, right, in relation to high careers that are in high demand, and I know you both shared some highlights earlier. I know supply chain and logistics has been recently mentioned as one of those careers that are in high demand. Business analytics, right, having that specialization. What would you say as we project into the future are good fields to consider from a business standpoint? And are there, if it's not something that a student is ready to transfer into the School of Business now, what are some of those prerequisites or courses that you would recommend could help someone determine, okay, which path? Do I want to go finance? Do I want to go accounting? Or what is trending? What's out there that could help me as a student that's trying to determine which path to go towards, in that direction?
And if you would allow us, Dr. LeBlanc, to refer back to something we said earlier, and that is so many students are uncertain about the future. And it's easy to read the Wall Street Journal. It's easy to go to the various news stations. It's easy to go to USA Today or Fox News or CNN and hear about trends. And we don't want to ignore trends, but there is a foundation under the trends that will transcend all the trends and lay a foundation for success. The solid foundational knowledge of accounting, finance, marketing, management, human behavior are always going to be important. As new career opportunities present themselves, students will have to be lifelong learners. Certainly you mentioned data analytics. Certainly you mentioned supply chain. And yes, those are very trending and high demand areas. A point that we would really like to make, something that employers see lacking in many graduates, is not their subject matter skills, is their soft skills. And so as we move to the future and we talk about the trends of artificial intelligence, as we talk to the trend of technological agility, things that people may not have heard much of, as we talk to the trends of virtual reality, to be successful in those areas, you're going to have to know what questions to ask. You're going to have to know what data to collect. You're going to have to know how to analyze that data and communicate those results and be innovative in your thinking. Know how to question yourself, know how to confidently present yourself. I, once again, would discourage students from saying, I'm going to follow this major because it's trending. Because 10 years from now, that trend may not exist. And there'll be something new in place. I would encourage students to look into themselves and say, how can I develop as a human being? How can I think? How can I work with others? How can I make other people and other members of my team more successful? And then you'll be ready for whatever trend, whatever demand industry places upon you at that time.
Great points. And just to elaborate, or actually to add one point to that, and this question somewhat came up recently at an alumni career panel. And one of our panelists that does work in data analytics said, one thing we really like for students to be able to do is to look at the same information that everyone else has and find something different, find a nuance. So just, again, that ability to be creative, to be a problem solver, to look at data, see that information, and come up with something slightly different or see it in a different way as someone else. Those types of things are concepts that we try to project throughout.
Thank you. And when it comes to graduate programs, and I know you have some fabulous options for our students, can you share with us a little bit about your graduate programs, and do you have any opportunities for students to connect with those condensed format options where you can earn both a bachelor's degree and a graduate degree at the same time? Do you have any of those opportunities?
Let us share with you our graduate programs. We have 4 graduate programs. the College of Business Administration, all are professional programs. I used to be a dean of graduate studies. When you tend to look at graduate programs, you may call a graduate program a professional program, where you're preparing someone to earn that degree and enjoy the professional world, or more of an academic foundational program where you're preparing someone to go to a doctoral program next. Ours are more the professional route. We have the traditional MBA. We have an executive MBA in banking and financial institutions. We have a Master's of Science in Accounting and a Master's of Science in Project Management. Now, as to your point about the condensed program, you're going to hear phrases 3+2, 4+1. And the idea there would be, as you finish one program, you slide seamlessly into the next program. It's not as if you're taking graduate classes as part of the undergraduate program, but they blend together in prerequisites. And the program that best personifies that, exemplifies that, would be the BBA in accounting transitioning to the Master's of Science in Accounting. 25 years ago, they changed the requirements to earn a CPA, where you had to have 150 hours, and many of which had to be in certain areas. But what many schools did, and we were among them, we had our BBA followed by a 1-year Master's of Science in Accounting. And we're constantly monitoring that curriculum to make sure it aligns with what's going to be tested for the CPA exam. In fact, we just recently changed our undergraduate curriculum in accounting to align with recent changes by AICPA. So that would be an example of one of those condensed programs. Condensed does not mean it's a shorter program. Condensed, in our perspective, means it blends together into the seamless transition from one to the other. There still is an admission process. It's not that you complete the BBA, the undergraduate degree, and automatically go into the graduate program. But if you meet the admission standards, it's a seamless transition to prepare you for that professional path.
Thank you. And where do minors fit within the College of Business Administration? Are there opportunities for someone to, let's just say, major in accounting and minor in international business? I was just making that one up. But what opportunities are there, and what role do minors play in that process?
Well, minors represent a statement that I have knowledge in more than one area. And depending upon the nature of the degree, there may be a requirement for a minor, or there may be no requirement for the minor. Once again, a BBA, a Bachelor's of Business Administration, has a business core that essentially gives you knowledge across all the disciplinary areas. And then you add to that core discipline knowledge in information systems, in marketing, in finance, in accounting, or maybe very broad-based, we take a wide array of international related courses to get a BBA in international business. International business would be one of those majors where we encourage a minor. So you're going to learn in the international business program. And our international business program will have a heavy emphasis on economics, because economics translates across borders. Whereas accounting rules may be different in one country versus another country, or one continent versus another continent. And so international business, we encourage you to get a minor to support your appreciation and knowledge of how different cultures and different business tendencies may work in various parts of the world, but you're going to have a knowledge in an area. Our general business major is very broad-based. So we would encourage you to get a minor to have this broad-based knowledge of business, but the minor that that I have a strong emphasis of knowledge in an area. And then there are other programs where we don't really encourage you to get a minor, because the business core and the business major is going to fill up your curriculum, make it a very rich curriculum. But one point I'd like to emphasize again, I mentioned this phrase earlier, and that is being a lifelong learner. The world is changing so dramatically that what you know now, foundationally, you'll know the rest of your life, but you're going to have to learn new skills, pick up new certificates as you go on through your career. And that's the point we want to convey to our students, is if you have that foundational knowledge and you know how to learn, you have a thirst for knowledge, you're going to be successful.
And I would just probably add to that, I mean, obviously the focus of this program is for College of Business Administration prospective students. We also have students that major in, say, another college, say criminal justice. But depending on their career path, they may decide to then kind of get their minor from the College of Business Administration. And so in that particular example, someone possibly interested in working for the FBI or something like that could potentially minor in criminal justice, major in criminal justice, but get a minor in accounting or something along those lines. And so our minors can often complement.
Well, thank you both for taking time out to share with our students a little bit more about and highlighting the College of Business Administration at Sam Houston State University. And to my audience members, stay tuned for our next TRAC Unplugged series as we highlight additional programs and universities in relation to transfer destinations and resources. So again, thank you so much to Sam Houston State University, College of Business Administration, Dr. Muehsam, Dr. Robinson. For our students, please feel free to reach out to www.shsu.edu. And if you know the specific direct website for the College of Business Administration, Dr. Muehsam, what is that address for students to visit?
Exactly what you said, and then /COBA, College of Business Administration, www.shsu.edu/COBA.
Thank you so much. Eat 'em up, Cats, and go Mavericks. Stay tuned for the next session.
Thank you, Dr. LeBron.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.